We will begin in about 1 minute. I will now call the April 15, 2013 Blue Springs City Council meeting to order. Two things. One is we will have 2 council agendas tonight. Secondly, during the moment of silence, let's remember the tragic bombing in Boston today. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims, their families, and all the people affected by this terrible event. So let us stand, observe a moment of silence, and then I will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I want to welcome those in attendance as well as those that might be watching on Cable TV 7 to tonight's City Council meeting. I am reserving the motion for the consent agenda to our departing member that we're going to miss, Councilman Bowerman.
Mayor, I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Cobell.
Aye.
Councilman Levesey.
Aye.
Councilman Fowler.
Aye.
Councilman Carter.
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson.
Aye.
Councilman Bowerman.
Aye.
Carried unanimously.
That brings us to a presentation. So I'm going to walk down front, and I'm going to ask Councilman Bowerman to join me. We're going to start out front for the benefit of our audience, and then we're going to move to the back of this lectern for the benefit of our people at home. So we're going to be doing 2 different things. Here's a proclamation, Grant Bowerman, whereas Grant Bowerman has been a Blue Springs resident for over 25 years, serving as a councilman for 3 years, and whereas Grant was committed to providing our police, fire, EMS personnel with their best technology available, and served on the Public Safety Sales Tax Committee. And whereas Grant was also concerned about the small business owners in our community and supported the Blue Springs Chamber's Buy Blue Springs campaign, and is a past member of the Chamber of Commerce. And whereas Grant served on the Public Safety Citizens Advisory Board for 2 years, the Blue Springs Art Commission 1 year, the Solid Waste Task Force, and is currently the Missouri Municipal League and Westgate Vice President. And I might add, does a fantastic job. And whereas Grant has been in sales marketing for over 30 years, since 1977, and whereas Grant has been married to Jane, his constant advocate and supporter, for 39 years, they have 3 grown children, Rachel, Sarah, and David, and 3 grandchildren, Anna, Sam, and Kate. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Carson Ross, Mayor of Blue Springs, and the Blue Springs City Council take great pleasure in recognizing the significant professional achievements of Grant Bowerman, and herewith express our sincere gratitude for the invaluable contribution he has made to local government in the state of Missouri. Signed by me and Kathy Richardson, City Clerk. And we also have another little token of our appreciation. A nice little plaque presented to Grant Bowerman, District 3 Councilman, in grateful appreciation for your outstanding service and devotion to the city of Blue Springs, Missouri. Now, we're going to go around here and do it. I'm not going to read all of it. We're going to go around here and take a picture. Okay.
That made
Now-
the video.
Now, we're going to stand here and we're going to face the camera. Oh. And this is for our viewing audience at home. Our congratulations to Grant Bowerman for the fantastic job he did at Councilman District 3. Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
Now, do we have any council members that'd like to make any comments? Councilman Fowler.
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to thank Grant for his term of duty and all of his service to the city of Blue Springs as well. He's somebody that has taught me a lot in the short time he's been here. He always walks with class and integrity, even when being put in the line of fire. And for those, I'll always appreciate it. He's also a great storyteller. I appreciate listening to his stories. And if anybody ever gets a chance, ask him about his motorcycle and all the fun he's had with that. All the rolling fun, I guess, so, yeah.
Anyone else?
Sure.
Councilman Clavell?
Well, I will never forget the first time that Grant walked into my office when he was contemplating his run for this position, and it's been great getting to know him, and we really appreciate your service, Grant, in your time here on the council.
Your name is still up here, buddy.
It's been a pleasure to serve with you.
Anyone else?
Your Honor?
Yes, Councilman Carter.
Well, tonight's a bittersweet night. We're excited about having Susan join us on the City Council, but bittersweet in that we're going to be saying goodbye to our friend Grant Bowerman, but not goodbye. Gotten to know Grant over the last 3 years. Didn't know him before, but I think we've become very good friends. And who could forget that year we spent on the Solid Waste Task Force Committee? And of course, Grant's many costumes. He could do a Village People video all by himself. It's been an honor to get to know you and to call you friend.
Anyone else?
Your Honor. if I may.
Councilman Edmondson?
We're going to miss you. You know, the three amigos up here is kind of missing one now, but it would have been a pleasure working with you and enjoying your love of Motown music. We've had some good trips and some good music, and appreciate your good wisdom on the council. We're going to miss you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Councilman Levesey?
Just want to say it's been a pleasure serving with you and be sorely missed. Thank you, sir.
You know, I think I talked you into this 3 years ago.
Actually, Mayor, we talked about it years prior to that, and
Yes,
it
we
just
did.
happened to be the right time. It was.
Yes. Yes, and you're a great person, you're a great friend. We mentioned in the resolution your family, but I would like for you to take the time to introduce your family.
I would be glad to, Your Honor. I'll begin with my mother. She's one of two reasons why I'm here. And I will say that 3 years ago, when I was sworn in at a session just like this, my father was here, but he's in a much better place now. So my mother, Mom, if you'll stand up, Myrtle Bowerman, and then my wife, Jane, of 39 years, and our oldest daughter, Rachel,
and our son David. Now, Sarah's, our middle daughter, couldn't be here tonight. And all these good people out here that I see, and so many good friends. And I just want to thank the city staff. It's been an honor to serve the good people of this wonderful city. And I tell you what, Blue Springs is so very blessed to have these people. And we all know that, don't we, Councilman? I've learned so much about how a city works and appreciate the details and the devotion that's required. And I can't thank Eric Johnson enough and his good people. And there's a lot of good people that serve this city. And I've had that privilege for 3 years, and yes, I will miss it too, but I'm not going away. I'm still in the phone book, and I still vote, and now I have a new councilman to represent me and my good friend, Councilman Fowler. So thank you all so much.
You know, it's going to be strange. I normally, when I look to my right, it's well behaved. When I look to my
I thought you used the word stuffy before.
that's probably appropriate. No, in your words. But when I look to my left, I never know what to expect. But anyway, it's been our pleasure, Grant, and we're going to miss you. You're right, you're going to still be around, and certainly your replacement will probably be calling on you from time to time, and we wish you Godspeed and the very best. Thank you. All right, and I'm also going to reserve the next item on the agenda, adjournment, to you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, Your Honor, there is, and I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed, same sign? This agenda number 1 is adjourned. We will pause for a couple of minutes to allow. He'll probably have one of those reflective vests on. Matter of fact, I've got one in my truck. I haven't pulled it out yet, but I'm going to have to pull it out. Yeah. Well, the green light is off. I don't know if I'm going to get the yellow before. Yep, the yellow light is now on. So when you see me looking there, that's my cue when I'm looking for the yellow light. I've got a green light. I will now call the April 15th, 2013 agenda number 2 meeting to order. The next item is the city clerk administers the oath of office to councilman.
Okay.
City clerk, Kathy
Do you want
Richardson.
to come down here?
Are you going to do it by district?
I was going to have all 3 of them to stand there.
All 3 of you elected people need to go down front to Kathy. We have 1 newly elected person and 2 that's re-elected.
District 1 first. Wherever you'd like. Okay, you want to raise your right hand? Okay, and repeat after me, please. Okay, I, Dale Carter,
I, Dale Carter,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of Councilman District 1,
for the office of Councilman District 1,
And I support the Constitution of the United States
I support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions of the city of Blue Springs
the provisions of the city of Blue Springs,
Home Rule Charter,
Home Rule Charter,
and state statutes,
and state statutes,
and the ordinances of the city of Blue Springs.
and the ordinances of the city of Blue Springs.
I shall faithfully conduct myself in office
I shall faithfully conduct myself in office
and respect the competences and information
and respect the confidences and information
which come into my possession.
which come into my possession.
Congratulations.
I was going to suggest that you bring Grace and Benjamin up, but you knew what to do. Very good.
Okay, would you raise your right hand? Okay. I, Chris Levison,
I, Chris Levisay,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of Councilman, District 2,
for the office of Councilman, District 2,
and I support the Constitution of the United States
and I support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions of the city of Blue Springs Home Rule Charter,
the provisions of the city of Blue Springs Home Rule Charter
and state statutes,
and state statutes,
and the ordinances of the city of Blue Springs.
and the ordinances of the city of Blue Springs.
I shall faithfully conduct myself in office
I shall faithfully conduct myself in office
and respect the confidence and information
and respect the confidence and information
which come into my possession.
which come in my possession.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I, Susan Culpepper,
I, Susan Culpepper,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of Councilman, District 3,
for the office of Councilman, District 3,
and I support the Constitution of the United States
and I support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Missouri,
and the state of Missouri,
the provisions of the city of Blue Springs Home Rule Charter
the provisions of the city of Blue Springs Home Rule Charter
and state statutes,
and state statutes,
and the ordinances of the city of Blue
and
Springs.
the ordinances of the city of Blue Springs.
I shall faithfully conduct myself in office
I shall faithfully conduct myself in office
and respect the confidences and information
and respect the confidences of information
which come into my possession.
which come into my possession.
Congratulations to all our newly elected city council members, 2 of them to a second term, and Councilman Culpepper to a first term. Now, we have a presentation on a Cdbg Consolidated Plan. Oh, I'm skipping over something. Next, we need to elect a mayor pro tem.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I nominate Dale Carter for Mayor Pro Tem for the coming year.
Is there a second? Second. Are there any other nominations? We will elect him by acclamation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Dale, did you say you reject? You know?
Should or shouldn't vote.
Right now, too late now, public.
You got it now. Congratulations to Councilman Dale Carter, who will serve as Mayor Pro Tem the next year. And for those that don't know, when I'm absent from duty, he is in charge.
Scary thought.
But you can handle it. And also, along with those duties, he becomes a liaison from the city council to the planning commission, so 2 more of his Monday nights are taken. But anyway, we congratulate you. I know you'll do a fine job, as the other mayor pro tems have. So I'm in a very comfortable position, so if I decide to take off for a while, I know it's in good hands. Now that brings us to a presentation for Cdbg Consolidated Plan for formal action requests. Discussion only.
Thank you, Your Honor, and members of the council. I almost said commission there. It'll be interesting to see Ms. Culpepper on a different Monday night, but congratulations to all 3 councilmen tonight, and especially to Councilman Carter. Monday Night Football is overrated.
Well, I think at 2-14 last year, the Chiefs are in no danger of being on Monday Night Football this year, so we're safe.
That's true. Now, you won't have to be at Arrowhead Stadium any Monday night, will you?
Right.
Okay, good. Then we're all set. Looking forward to having you join us starting next Monday. With that, as Your Honor, as you had noted, this is just a discussion item for tonight. The city is required to have a certain number of public meetings, just at least as an informational purpose for its annual action plan for receiving community development block grant funds through Housing and Urban Development Department, HUD that is, from the federal government. The 2013-2014 Cdbg Annual Action Plan is looking to be adopted by, or excuse me, sent to HUD by August 15th. And therefore, we're kind of backing up here starting April 15th, looking forward to August 5th as the adoption date for the City Council of the Annual Action Plan. What's outlined in the Annual Action Plan are programs, projects that are being proposed that will essentially implement the Consolidated plan, which was a 6-year plan, last updated just last year. So we're not going through that level of detail this time around, other than looking at projects for the upcoming funding cycle. We've been informed by HUD that we're looking at approximately 5% decrease to the sequestration, and therefore we're looking at $201,000 more or less for this next year versus about the $211,000 we had for the current year. With that, in the council information form, you can see that there are a number of projects that we're looking at just in terms of project areas. I mean, not specifically projects, site-specific ones at this point, but just want to give you kind of a flavor of what we've been discussing at staff level, primarily with Public Works Department and with the Parks and Recreation Department. With Director Dennis Dovell from Parks Recreation Department, we've identified, meaning he and his department have identified a number of potential maintenance-related projects, but actually new construction projects as well within several parks throughout the city, and specifically those are located within low to moderate income census areas, which is where we focus our Cdbg funding. As you know, one of our first projects we did several years ago, back in 2006, I believe, was new playground equipment at Blue Springs Park. Along with that, in again talking with staff, just at staff level over the last few weeks, there's some opportunities to look at providing new playground surfaces, with Blue Springs Park being one of those slated for that. So that's one of those that we're looking at as a possibility in this list. In terms of the funding amount for that, there's some variation in that, but that could be upwards of $100,000 for that. Central Park is another one as we look forward to the public safety building construction, possibly looking at tying some activities into Central Park where the historic train depot is currently located. And then also expanding our new downtown facade grant program, which we're just getting underway with the America's Community Bank at the corner of 11th and Main. So with that, the other programs are still on the table for consideration as well. Minor home repair program, which has been fairly successful and has been getting a lot of activity over the last year or two. First-time home buyers program in the same fashion. And then, of course, some administration just for staff time, since we do have 2 staff in the community development office that are use a good portion of their time for administering a number of those programs, primarily minor home repair, first-time home buyers program. One thing I should note, too, for example, the minor home repair program, based on comments from the City Council, particularly Councilman Fowler last year, we are accepting applications throughout the year for the minor home repair program. Again, as funding becomes available, should an applicant fall out of interest in utilizing the minor home repair program funds, we can kind of go to the queue and pull folks in, kind of first come, first served approach. Otherwise, again, we just kind of carry them over year to year. So at least we have the information out there year round rather than just kind of this short. We do have application deadlines to get current year funding in play, usually in January, February, but we will be accepting applications throughout the year so folks can kind of look forward to, as funding becomes available in the fall, to get going with that next year. So with that, I'll just kind of open it up. If there's any initial discussion, anything new, anything from the list that you saw in the council information form that you had some more questions on, but certainly staff's just looking to take your input at this point.
Now we'll have questions and comments from the council. Councilman Levacy.
Thank you, Mr. Allen, for this presentation. I wondered, has the boundaries changed at all for the CDBG money? Or
That's-
just,
I'm sorry, that's an excellent question. We're hoping to see some of those boundaries change as a result of the 2010 census. I'll defer to Mr. Peterman, our principal planner, who oversees the CDBG program, maybe for additional information on that, if you have any.
The latest information we have from HUD is it's still coming. They're dealing with all of their staffing issues as well, so that they promise us that it's going to come. We haven't seen it yet.
Right, so we're still operating under the current boundaries, current
this
being
budget
the
needs
previous
to
boundaries, yes, for
assume
this
needs
budget
to-
year.
okay.
We don't anticipate, I don't think, anything really changing in time for us to modify what we're talking about here.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's been, since we're 2013 and we're talking about 2010, we're getting a little bit anxious as well.
with 3 and 4 here, the downtown facade grants, is there any, I know last year we had a specific project in mind with America's Community Bank.
Correct.
There are no other specific grant applications or anything like that that are in mind at this point?
I don't believe so, but Mr. Peterman, you've worked with the Downtown Live Group.
Correct. This request comes from Downtown Alive.
Just to expand the project in general?
Right, just to have those available, similar to like our first-time home buyer and our minor home repair, just an application process from a downtown business to get a certain amount of grant funding.
And same thing with 3 here, the downtown infrastructure. Are there any specific sidewalks that they had in mind, or again, is this just a general?
No,
infrastructure
just, right,
improvement?
just in general at this point. So again, yeah, if there are any, that's kind of the push back to the mayor and the council and others, again, in the audience as well. If there are specific areas that you're interested in seeing, perhaps some sidewalk reconstruction, again, it's not just maintenance. That's why, again, working with Chris Sandy and Public Works as well, talk about, their kind of their maintenance program and how this fits in with more of the reconstruction program. But you do see, for example, Vesper Street, a good real-world example. You can just drive by right today. They put in the curbing, I think, today, moving pretty quickly on that. But we are looking at, we've identified funding and appropriated funding for 10th Street to continue with that. There's a lot of heavy lifting in terms of property ownership, things like that.
Right.
At this point, we're looking to extend, again, essentially from Vesper north to Artie Mize with 10th Street. So those have already been identified. Beyond that, we haven't really seen much, and that's, again, too, why we're hoping to see some of those boundaries change, because as it stands now,
So
like the
without
historic
the-
district is not
Right.
in those boundaries. So we're hoping to see some change in that.
There's no
quite soon.
opportunities at this point for the historic district because the boundary still is.
There would be, and I don't know, if, Mike, if you want to talk about that, how that would work?
We have the opportunity, there's, HUD gives us the opportunity to actually do a survey of a small area, an income survey of the residents of, a targeted area. And that's something that we identified last year, to do a survey of the historic district income-wise, to then qualify them, or that area, to then receive CDBG funding for sidewalks.
Well, that would be the only thing I would see in the way of future plans for the next discussion is there any area, any opportunity there to include the historic district into this? Otherwise, a lot of this is a repeat of what we've talked about, so it looks good. And if any interest in expanding the minor home repair program or the first-time home buyers, are those operating pretty successful under what they have? Or?
I believe the funding in this case is at a good level. We've carried over minor home repair funding for multiple years, and I think that this year, our actual funding level will meet the applications that we received.
Okay.
So this will be the first year that we didn't overfund it, I guess.
So we're getting caught up, I guess.
Right,
for-
and the minor repair has been right on. The 13 grants that we've budgeted for that we've gotten 13 each year. We've done our last one in like August, September of each budget year, so that's right on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilman Carter?
Your Honor, I had a question about the first-time home buyer program, because in the mayor's State of the City address today, I think the number was 28 homes, yet we're in year 3 of this, and I'm not a math expert, but 13 times 3 is a bigger number.
We haven't reported on this year's
Okay.
yet. Officially, this year, I think we've done 8,
Okay,
so,
so we're closer to that number. Okay.
correct.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, one of the things I've discovered, and I'm sure you've noticed too, this thing called sequestration has got its fingers in everything, doesn't it? Every time I look around, there are cuts and stuff because of sequestration.
I don't know where it came from, but I wish it'd go away. Okay, thank you, Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So you'll be bringing us things back for us to consider
Yes.
at subsequent meetings.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yes, Mr. Johnson.
Just very quickly, Your Honor. Yes, just a reminder, if some of you have been through this process before, so you will see Mr. Allen and staff numerous times now over the next several 90 days, that we are required to have certain public hearings. We're also required to present to you very specific plans. As Scott indicated, there's approximately $200,000 that will be allocated. We are going through the budget process now, so it will be important that you reach a consensus on the projects and priorities that you're going to fund in the CDBG plan. So just a reminder.
And food for thought, Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
I know other communities have done this as well, and we haven't really done this in any kind of expansive way, but since it is only $200,000, really don't even know what's coming forward in the future years, but if there are larger projects that perhaps may span multiple fiscal years, that's certainly something to consider as well. It does not have to be all or nothing, in one shot in 1 year. So if there are larger projects that you think might be worth undertaking, we can expand it and carry it over a couple of years.
Good thought. Thank you. That brings us to mayoral announcements. If you're one of those people that have not filed your income tax yet, you have until midnight tonight, unless you ask for an extension. So I would encourage you to do that. Keep IRS out of your business. The next thing is, today was my State of the City address. We had approximately 200 people there today. And for those people that didn't have an opportunity to be there today, that address will be shown on the city's cable channel, as well as the city web on bluespringsgov.com. And I'm told that it should be processed and up in about a week. So you don't want to miss it. We encourage you to check it out, because there's a lot of information there. I had a number of people came up to me after the State of the City address and just didn't realize we had that much going on in Blue Springs. There is a lot. That brings us to Thoughts to Ponder. Tonight, Arthur is unknown, but it says, motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. End quote. I don't have any visitors appearance forms, but we want to thank all those people that came out to support their loved ones, with Councilman Bowerman leaving the council and with Councilman Culpepper coming on to replace him. We have an executive session that we need to go into, but before we accept that motion to go into executive session, and then we will come back with adjournment, we have refreshments prepared in the back of the room. So former Councilman Bowerman, would you take charge of that and make sure that people enjoy themselves while we do the executive session, and just save us a little punch or something?
I'll buy you all a drink.
All right, very good. So that being said, is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Levesey?
Aye.
Councilman Fowler?
Aye.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
Aye.
Councilman Culpepper?
Aye.
Councilman Cobell?
Aye.
Carried unanimously.
We're going to be excused to another room to go into executive session. You all stay here, enjoy yourselves, and we will be back shortly. We're going to go through